welcome to the Tea Party Hearty channel. We are glad to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let's take a look at what's going on today. CNN, why Trump's campus free speech order is a big risk. Is it? Why is it a risk to enforce the First Amendment? Well, let's see. President Donald Trump's recent vow at the Conservative Political Action Conference to sign an executive order supporting free speech on college campuses has stoked fears in the academy. I bet it has. Critics predict that proposed order risks meddling in a university's autonomy or politicizing academic freedom. Yes, that's a good thing for the critics to predict, because that's the whole purpose, is to meddle in the university's autonomy. That's absolutely correct, because currently, as it stands, the leftists in academia, and this has been documented in many places, is so far to the left that there was a survey I read recently where they asked students on campuses if you felt afraid to speak out in any way concerning left-wing issues. And everybody's like, it's all good. Well, how would you feel about speaking about right-wing issues like Christianity or abortion and against abortion, things like that? And everybody's like, oh, no, ha, 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 ha. They all started laughing. That's how far left it is. Anybody that's been on campus in the last 5 years has recognized how dramatic the intensity is towards the left. And obviously, since the election of Trump, it's difficult to measure. It's like the old saying goes, wouldn't it be easier just to count who isn't a lefty so that we can get this done and leave? But unless his proposed decree is carefully and narrowly crafted, the president's purported effort to promote campus speech may well suppress more speech than it protects. Considering the way the scales are tilted, that's kind of the idea too. And we're not coming to this from a level playing field by any stretch of the imagination. There are valid concerns about the climate for free expression on campus. Protests have silenced invited speakers. Yeah, that's an issue. Students have mounted national campaigns to get professors fired for offensive Facebook posts and tweets, which is kind of funny because if you've seen the story in the last couple of days talking about the things that stress out millennials the most in their life, in the top 5 was a cracked phone screen. So in other words, these people get offended by a lot. Well, you think about it, we've had all these years of, what do they call it? Sensitivity training. Talk about the emperor's new clothes. So you're telling me that you're going to come into the company and you're going to teach everybody how to be more sensitive, and that's going to reduce lawsuits? That's what they used to say. Now, the humor in that is, if you know what the word sensitive means, and I think that you do, if you feel something more, that's going to make you complain more, as in lawsuits. And then they tell you exactly how to do it. In those classes, they teach you, oh, in case you didn't know that you're supposed to be offended. No, you are supposed to be offended. See right here? That's how you're supposed to be offended. Oh, and also, make sure you complain. Oh, and do not, whatever you do, don't feel the need to go to the person who's offended you and alert them to the fact that, hey, I'm kind of not comfortable with that. No, we don't do that anymore. No, now we go to the superior officer or human resources, and then we do it all behind their back so that nobody knows what's going on, and then we either suspend the person or we terminate them, all the while sometimes never even letting them know who it was that made the complaint. And never, ever, whatever you do, do not give the person the opportunity to know that they offended you and have the ability to act like an adult and make the change. And you get to act like an adult and let them know, hey, yeah, I'm kind of not cool with that. No, we don't do that anymore. We do sensitivity training to reduce lawsuits, and everybody laughs together. Certain terms, topics, and theories are now deemed so offensive on racial, gender, religious, or other grounds that for many, the easiest answer is not to speak them at all, even if it proposes a scholarly analysis. Wow! So it's a bad thing that Trump's trying to come in and allow people to speak freely again, even though it might reverse. It's supposed to reverse. It's designed to reverse the idea that people can now address things purposefully for scholarly analysis. And remember, this whole article is arguing against it. Hardly a week goes by without a group on the left or the right. Oh, I want to see proof of that. I want to see proof where it's on the right. No, I really, really do. Calling to silence those on campus with whom they disagree. I really want to see that. She does not provide evidence. All the evidence she's amplified so far has all been to the left. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. We know that. We know that. Against the backdrop of government intervention to defend the robust protections for campus speech may seem perfectly justified. But recent experience at both the federal and state levels reveals both the potential and perils of government action in the realm. And she goes on to say examples that, they don't actually hurt it at all. She talks about tying the punishment into getting funding for different programs, because you got to do it somewhere. Look at what Obama did with that one letter for Title, was it Title IX? Yeah, Title IX. And all of a sudden, if you didn't adhere to Title IX, with the new interpretation, the gender is determined whenever you feel like it. Okay, it's all good. You don't have to do hormones. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to do anything. You just say one day, I feel like a boy, or I feel like a girl. And whatever the case may be, you can run with it. And you can run to the shower. You can run to, okay, and that was all done because if you don't do it, we're going to strike money with you. That's how the game works. Good or bad, that is how the game works. Okay, and so then she's talking about the money. Money. What state efforts can teach us? What happened in the state? According to PEN America analysis, nearly 30 state legislatures have considered some type of campus speech legislation in the past 2 years. Most have been voted down, but about a third have become law. This is all to enforce the First Amendment. This is already in the Constitution of the United States. Why are we having to double up on our laws? There's nothing wrong with affirming the importance of free expression principles. Do you think? That's probably why it's in the First Amendment, not the Ninth Amendment, not the 10th, not the 24th. It's in the First Amendment, right after religion. Hey. Given a recent report by Gallup that the Knight Foundation found out that the support for the First Amendment among college students and many willing to entertain restrictions on some free speech, education and information dissemination on speech rights is essential. Yeah, Arizona, they're saying, not Arizona. Yeah, Arizona, Louisiana, and Virginia are saying freshmen college students need to be made aware that free speech actually does exist and it's supposed to be real. Yeah. It's not the kids that needed the lesson, though, is it? It's not the students that needed the lesson. It was the professors and the administration. Let's just wake up and smell the coffee at this point. Laws passed in Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky prohibit the universities from designating specific finite areas of campuses known as free speech zones. The establishment of the free speech zones on campus grew out of the anti-Vietnam War protest and were aimed to facilitate policing and crowd control. Well, that's nice. Now check this out. This is where the author actually admits reality. But the First Amendment and the principles that guide most private higher education institutions in our country, they dictate that campus must be a free speech zone. Shucks, oh golly, how did that happen? Allowing an open exchange and controversial ideas. Oh, by gosh, by golly, darn it. Measures to block the imposition of delineated free speech zones can help promote a more open campus as a whole. Yeah, that's probably why, again, it's the First Amendment. Where the administration stands on free speech. In certain instances, the Trump administration has intervened usefully on campus speech issues. Wow, CNN actually just said something nice about the president. Steady the pacemakers. When Kevin Shaw, a student at Los Angeles Pierce College, was told that he would only be allowed to hand out Spanish language copies of the Constitution in a small, specific free speech zone, he sued. Again, all to support the First Amendment. Why do we have a Constitution if we're not going to follow it? I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said, folks, if we're not going to do this, then let's tear it out. Let's rip this thing to shreds. So it's not a new issue, apparently.